Well, I remember getting a call from my agent, and he said to me, Mark, they're casting a Jim Cameron movie. And I said to him, that's great, but do you really think I'm good enough for a Jim Cameron movie? And he said, I've already talked to the casting director, and she thinks you'd be perfect for the role. And I sort of stopped, and I was like, what? But that's how I got my big break. Like, I am the guy who hits the propeller in the film Titanic.
What was it that first got you started in this line of work?
Well, I've always been interested in acting. Like as a young lad, I was always pretending. I think one time I was pretending to be like the Queen of France or something stupid like that. But anyway, I was all up in my head like pretending. And I tripped. And I fell down a flight of stairs. Anyway, I picked myself up. And I thought to myself, this is fantastic. Like, I can look like I'm acting, but I can also make it look like I'm getting hurt at the same time.
So you knew then you wanted to be a stuntman?
No, not a stuntman, but a stunt actor. You see, most stuntmen, they just perform the stunt. But what I do is I deliver lines while performing the stunt.
Could you give us an example?
Oh sure, bloody hell!
What can you tell us about the CGI?
The what?
The computer graphics.
Well, we're no computer graphics.
Didn't they use computer graphics to make it appear you fall 30 feet and bounce off a giant propeller before plummeting another 10 stories into the icy water below?
No, I did that myself.
You did?
Well, I'm a specialist.
Well then, can you tell us how it was filmed?
Oh yes, well, Jim Cameron's quite the perfectionist, and so knowing this, I went up to him and I said, well Jim, this is a particularly difficult scene for me, a particularly physically taxing scene, so I only want to do it once, one time. He said to me, well, get it right the first time then. But it's not just me in that scene, there's hundreds of other people all drowning and falling and thrashing around and whatnot. And each time one of them buggered it up, we had to do it all over again. We did 12 takes of that scene.
12 takes?
Yeah.
12 takes of you diving off the Titanic and slamming into the propeller.
That's right. And I tell you, we sank that bleeding ship every single time.
How do you know Mark?
Oh, we go way back. He even got me started in stunts, fight scenes. And I remember this one night, we were at this bar drinking, and we stumble out of there completely hammered, and he looks to me, and he turns me around and he says, I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
Yes, well I am quite macho. Actually, I'm considered quite a sex symbol, if you will, back in my hometown. The ship's going down! Scene.
This isn't a comedy.
What?
This isn't a comedy.
This isn't comedy! I'm another actor! So, my lines were ultimately deleted from the film. But actually there's one line in there that's my influence, when Rose is at the front of the ship in the film, and she says, oh, I'm flying, Jack, I'm flying. That was mine.
You came up with that line?
Well, it was sort of funny, because it was something I did as a funny bit, like a blooper, sort of an outtake. But Jim loves getting the input from the actors. He takes in everything and he puts it back into the film. Look at me, I'm flying! I think it's sort of that chameleonic ability that I have to slip in and out of a role during a stunt that really sets me apart, really defines me as a stunt actor.
One scene I wrote for Space Truckers 2 featured this character being jettisoned from an airlock and then colliding with a propeller on the back of one of these big space trucks. And when Mark got the script, he came to me and he suggested that the guy be on fire at first and then explode when he hit the propeller, you know, because he's burning and he's in space. And to me, as a director, that sort of information is invaluable.
Now, when you actually watch the stunt, it's over quite quickly, really. But like, if you pay close attention to it, you see like sort of the way like my legs connect with the propeller, and then like my head follow down with it. So it's like it's a continuation of the roll to improve upon the initial hit and the fall. Like if you watch, I'm falling and I'm falling, and then like my legs like they hit the propeller at the same exact moment. I begin to twist my body. See right there, like the legs sort of go to the side and they crumple a little bit, and the body like begins a roll, and then I'm rolling to really make it a spectacular piece of work. I'm quite proud of it. I mean, it's little details like that that really make the whole stunt like work in the film, and it really adds to the overall quality. Now when people ask me what I do, I tell them, you know, I'm an aerial propeller collision specialist. And that's what I am. Look at me, I'm flying! This fine film was written and directed by Daniel Hogg. Mark McIntoshly was played by himself, since he clearly is a real person. Christopher Graham Robinson, the interviewer. That's like 12 syllables spread out over 4 words. Tim Dodson played the friend stuntman, the friendly stuntman. Evan Roberts, writer and director of Space Truckers 2, eh? Don't Quit Your Day Job, casting agent, was done by Craig Battle. It sounds rather like a bit of Scottish history, doesn't it? The Battle of Craig. Okay, here's an outtake.
Can you tell us how it was filmed?
Oh, well, how it was filmed, yes. I remember, you know... Bonnie Vermeulen was the camera operator. You just heard her there. I'd like to thank the cast and crew of Titanic, since we don't have any permission to use bits of their film and bits of our film. I'd like to thank Dave for taking my shift. And finally, I'd like to thank the Propeller Guy, who I highly doubt survived the fall. A fall, I should add, that should only be performed by proper stuntmen in a controlled environment, such as a sinking ship out in the middle of the Atlantic. This has been a Hog Wild production. If your name is Wild, or if you're thinking of changing your name to Wild, please let me know, as I'm looking for a production partner. That's all. Heidi ho, Kermit the Frog here. Feh.